Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to go over, I'm going to read the law. It's U.S. Code Title 42, Chapter 144, Subchapter 1, Part A, 15001. 42 U.S. Code 15001, Findings, Purpose, and Policy. Congress finds that disability is a natural part of the human experience. That does not diminish the right of the individuals with developmental disabilities to live independently, to exert control and choice over their own lives, and to fully participate in and contribute to their communities through full integration and inclusion in the economic, political, social, cultural, and educational mainstream of United States society. In 1999, there were between 3,200,000 and 4,500,000 individuals with developmental disabilities in the United States. And recent studies indicate that individuals with developmental disabilities comprise between 1.2 and 1.65% of the United States population. Individuals whose disabilities occur during their developmental period frequently have severe disabilities that are likely to continue indefinitely. Individuals with developmental disabilities often encounter discrimination in the provision of critical services, such as services in the areas of emphasis as defined in Section 15002 of this title. And we'll go over there real quick. The term areas of emphasis means the areas related to quality assurance activities, education activities, and early intervention activities, child care related activities, health related activities, employment related activities, housing related activities, transportation related, all those services, so that they can go out and live in the community with us. 5. Individuals with developmental disabilities are at a greater risk than the general population of abuse, neglect, financial, and sexual exploitation, and the violation of their legal and human rights. I believe they're being sexually exploited and financially. It's not cheap to go to a strip club. You gotta have gas to pay to get there, money to give the girls, money for drinks. 6. A substantial portion of individuals with developmental disabilities and their families do not have access to appropriate support services. A substantial portion of individuals with developmental disabilities and their families do not have access to appropriate support and services, including access to assistive technology from generic and specialized service systems, and remained unserved or underserved. 7. Individuals with developmental disabilities often require lifelong community services, individualized supports, and other forms of assistance that are most effective when provided in a coordinated manner. 8. There is a need to ensure that services, supports, and other assistance are provided in a culturally competent manner that ensures individuals from racial and ethnic minority backgrounds are fully included in all activities provided under the subchapter. 9. Family members and friends and members of the community can play an important role in enhancing the lives of individuals with developmental disabilities, especially when the family members, friends, and community members are provided with the necessary community services, individualized supports, and other forms of assistance. 10. Current research indicates that 88% of individuals with developmental disabilities live with their families or in their own households. Many service delivery systems and communities are not prepared to meet the impending needs of the 479,862 adults with developmental disabilities who are living at home with parents who are 60 years old or older and who serve as the primary caregivers of the adults. My husband is 70 and I am almost 60. I should not be in having this battle at this stage in my life. It's enough caring for my family, my developmentally disabled adult son. Then I have to fight the government? 12. In almost every state, individuals with developmental disabilities are waiting for appropriate services in their communities in the areas of emphasis. 13. The public needs to be made more aware of the capabilities and competencies of individuals with developmental disabilities, particularly in cases in which the individuals are provided with necessary service supports and other assistance. So I guess that would be how it looks to have all the state personal care workers taking their clients into the strip club and showing them how it's done properly. Sickos. 14. As increasing numbers of individuals with developmental disabilities are living, learning, working, and participating in all aspects of community life, there is an increasing need for a well-trained workforce that is able to provide the services, supports, and other forms of direct assistance required to enable the individuals to carry out those activities. 15. There needs to be greater effort to recruit individuals from a minority backgrounds into professions serving individuals with developmental disabilities and their families. Why? Why does it have to be from minority backgrounds? They're bringing in all these illegal immigrants that can't even speak English. I don't want them working with our developmentally disabled population or our people in our nursing homes. 16. The goals of the nation properly include a goal of providing individuals with developmental disabilities with the information, skills, opportunities, and support to A. Make informed choices and decisions about their lives. B. Live in homes and communities in which such individuals can exercise their full rights and responsibilities as citizens. C. Pursue meaningful and productive lives. D. Contribute to their families, communities, and states and the nation. E. Have interdependent friendships and relationships with other persons. That's what he had, and that's what they took from him. F. Live free of abuse, neglect, financial, and sexual exploitation in violations of their legal and human rights. And that's what I feel is being done by all these group homes and day activity groups for developmentally delayed adults, intellectually delayed adults, getting paid to take them to strip clubs regularly, inviting the whole town. G. Achieve full integration and inclusion in society in an individualized manner, consistent with the unique strengths, resources, priorities, concerns, abilities, and capabilities of each individual, and as the nation, states, and communities maintain and expand community living options for individuals with developmental disabilities, there is a need to evaluate access to those options by individuals with developmental disabilities and the effects of those options on individuals with developmental disabilities. Oh my God, there's just so much to unpack with this thing. I feel like there's no evaluation of the individual people and what they're doing to their lives, their future. Sure, all these people right now think I should trust them, all of them, to take our disabled to the strip clubs. What about when they're not working and I have the next batch of workers in here to help? I'm supposed to just trust every Tom and Dick and Harry that can pass a criminal history check? Well, you know what? I understand they have a criminal history check, but if they start finding out they can come here and go to strip clubs with our developmentally disabled clients who have truly the minds of children, the world is their oyster. They'll always pass a criminal history check. Jesus Louises. Purpose. The purpose of this subchapter is to assure that individuals with developmental disabilities and their families participate in the design of and have access to needed community services, individualized supports, and other forms of assistance that promote self-determination, independence, productivity, and integration and inclusion in all facets of community life through culturally competent programs authorized under the subchapter, including specifically, you think they're going to bring up strip clubs? Number 1, state councils on developmental disabilities in each state to engage in advocacy, capacity building, and systemic change activities that A, are consistent with the purpose described in this subsection and the policy described in subsection C, and contribute to a coordinated consumer and family-centered, consumer and family-directed comprehensive system that includes needed community services, individualized supports, and other forms of assistance that promote self-determination for individuals with developmental disabilities and their families. 2, protection and advocacy systems in each state to protect the legal and human rights of individuals with developmental disabilities. I'm going to click on that. The term protection and advocacy system means a protection and advocacy system established in accordance with Section 15043 of this title. So we'll have to go look at a later date. Three, University Centers for Excellence in Developmental Disabilities Education Research and Service, A, to provide interdisciplinary pre-service preparation and continuing education of students and fellows, which may include the preparation and continuing education of leadership, direct service, clinical or other personnel to strengthen and increase the capacity of states and communities to achieve the purpose of this subchapter. B, to provide community services, I, that provide training and technical assistance for individuals with developmental disabilities and their families. Oh, we got to do this again. B, to provide community services that provide training and technical assistance for individuals with developmental disabilities, their families, professionals, paraprofessionals, policymakers, students, and other members of the community, and I, that may provide services, supports, and assistance for the persons described in Clause I through demonstration and model activities. C, to conduct research which may include basic or applied research, evaluation, and the analysis of public policy in areas that affect or could affect either positively or negatively individuals with developmental disabilities and their families. D, to disseminate information related to activities undertaken to address the purpose of this subchapter, especially dissemination of information that demonstrates the network authorized under this part is a national and international resource that includes specific substantive areas of expertise that may be assessed and applied in diverse settings and circumstances, and funding for national initiatives to collect necessary data on issues that are directly or indirectly relevant to the lives of individuals with developmental disabilities. B, technical assistance to entities who engage in or intend to engage in activities consistent with the purpose described in this subsection or the policy described in subsection C, and other nationally significant activities. Policy. It is the policy of the United States that all programs, projects, and activities receiving assistance under the subchapter shall be carried out in a manner consistent with the principles that individuals with developmental disabilities, including those with the most severe developmental disabilities, are capable of self-determination, independence, productivity, and integration and inclusion in all facets of community life, but often require the provision of community services, individualized supports, and other forms of assistance. That assistance is to keep them safe so they don't walk off a cliff. 2. Individuals with developmental disabilities and their families have competencies, capabilities, and personal goals that should be recognized, supported, and encouraged, and any assistance to such individuals should be provided in an individualized manner consistent with the unique strengths, resources, priorities, concerns, abilities, and capabilities of such individuals. Individuals with developmental disabilities and their families. 3. Individuals with developmental disabilities and their families are the primary decision makers regarding the services and supports such individuals and their families receive, including regarding choosing where the individuals live from available options and play decision-making including regarding choosing where the individuals live and from available options, and play decision-making roles in policies and programs that affect the lives of such individuals and their families. 4. Services, supports, and other assistance should be provided in a manner that demonstrates respect for individual dignity, personal preferences, and cultural differences. I got told to sit down and shut up. They were adults, period, and they go to strip club if they want to. 5. Specific efforts must be made to ensure that individuals with developmental disabilities from racial and ethnic minority backgrounds and their families enjoy increased and meaningful opportunities to assess and use community services, individualized supports, and other forms of assistance available to other individuals with developmental disabilities and their families. See, they're making it sound like that we were all racist back in, 1999. And none of the minorities were getting any services. I don't believe that's true. I don't believe that's true at all. My whole existence, my whole life experience in the special needs community since I was 15, well, even before I was 15, I had a stepsister that had developmental delays. And back then, when her mother got to be too much for her mother would put her up in the state institution for a while. It's not an opportunity now. Now, she would live in some group home and they'd take her to strip clubs. I don't think her mother would approve. Just like I don't approve. 6. Recruitment efforts and disciplines related to developmental disabilities relating to pre-service, lights get in my eyes. Recruitment efforts and disciplines relating to developmental disabilities relating to pre-service training, community training, practice, administration, and policy making must focus on bringing larger numbers of racial and ethnic minorities into the disciplines in order to provide appropriate skills, knowledge, role models, and sufficient personnel to address the growing needs of an increasingly diverse population. 7. With education and supports, communities can be accessible to and responsive to the needs of individuals with developmental disabilities and their families, and are enriched by full and active participation in community activities like going to a strip club, and contributions by individuals with developmental disabilities and their families. I'm trying to contribute. I'm trying to contribute and get the word out. This is not safe. It's going to turn out bad for everybody. 8. Individuals with developmental disabilities have access to opportunities and the necessary supports to be included in community life, have interdependent relationships, live in homes and communities, and make contributions to their families, communities, states, and nation. 9. Efforts undertaken to maintain or expand community-based living options for individuals with disabilities should be monitored in order to determine and report to appropriate individuals and entities the extent of access by individuals with developmental disabilities to those options and the extent of compliance by the entities providing those options with quality assurance standards. And I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to put a link in my at the end for my other video, how this all started. I don't think there was any quality assurance standards. Definitely not by my assurance quality. 10. Families of children with developmental disabilities need to have access to and safe and appropriate childcare before school and after school programs in the most integrated settings in order to enrich the participation of the children in community life. 11. Individuals with developmental disabilities need to have access to and use of public transportation in order to be independent and directly contribute to and participate in all facets of community life. And individuals with developmental disabilities need to have access to and use of recreational, leisure, and social opportunities in the most integrated settings in order to enrich their participation in community life. So there you go. That's the law that they are all saying strip clubs are okay. There's no protection for the developmentally disabled other than their parents. And it's very hard when you're a parent, being a caregiver for over 40 years. And then to have this dropped in your lap when you're almost 60 years old. Do you just want a nice place for your son to go, to have friends, to be out in the community, to enjoy things? But no, that was all ripped away from him. And he's still on their Facebook, and he has to watch all their cute little fun videos of their parties and their dances and their activities while he's stuck here with me. And I'm making it, I mean, we're having fun. We're going on lots of vacations and day trips. But this should have never happened. This should have never happened to him. It should have never happened to me. It should never happen to anybody. That's why I'm making these videos. So here we are.